Hey guys, it's Oishkip. Welcome to the channel. Sorry in advance if you hear background noise. My dad's playing the viola. But yeah, today I'm doing something a little different. So last night I was watching a video from another Motorfest creator, and I saw that Illusion Kato put a comment asking for like a VOD review. So that creator would look over one of Kato's races and make a video talking about what needs some work and how that could be improved on. And I thought that was a really good idea, so I hit Kato up and I was like, I could do that if you want. Because I think that a lot of people in the Crew Motorfest could still learn a lot. Like, people are getting faster, but there's things that people don't talk about or just like don't really bring up. Like, there's no like tutorials on how to do this, how to do that. I don't really see tutorials for this game. But yeah, I'm gonna show a couple like 20-30 second snippets of Kato's most recent video where he won 8 grand races in a row. And it's gonna be like 4 steps. So I'll show the clip and then I'll highlight what I think is going wrong. And after that, I'm gonna try to show a clip of me doing that same section of the track. Some of those clips might have different cars, but it's the same application no matter what. So it's like I show Kato's, point out what's wrong, I show mine, talk about how I would do it differently and why I think that would be faster. But without a further ado, I hope you guys take something away from this and enjoy the video. Peace. Okay, so a quick side note, the 2 main things I'm gonna go over in this video for Kato is 1, NOS management and where you should be saving it for, and 2 is gonna be your usage of the track. So it's just like how much of the road are you using? This isn't about hitting gutters because that just takes practice. And as long as you make a mental effort where you're like, okay, I missed the gutter when I broke here, so I'm gonna brake a little earlier, turn in a little earlier, see if I can hit it at the right speed this time. But yeah, this isn't about gutters. I'm not gonna bring that up very much in this video. I mean, Kato does miss some gutters, but that's his thing to practice, and I can try to talk about how to hit those better if you guys want that, but you line it up and then you got to control the throttle. But anyways, yeah, NOS management and using the whole track. Okay, so for this clip, Kato has a transition. So he's going in a hypercar, T50. And the first thing I notice is right about here. So, I mean, I usually don't pay attention to the racing line, but this is one place where you would. And I would go all the way to the left edge of the road. Because the fastest line you are going to take is, sorry about that, the wider you take your lines, the wider you start, the sharper you hit your apex, and the wider you come out while using all of your car's available grip, the faster your line is going to be. So you could make your line, if you hit it clean, maybe a few tenths faster, and that's kind of a lot. So for like, just try to make a mental note for every corner, like literally every corner in the game. Try to start as wide as you can and then try to hit your apex, because that also gives you more space for correction. So you're not like, you have a lower chance of just going off the road on the other side. You have more space to slow down if you brake too much. It's just better all around. So that's number one. So he takes the line, and then here he uses his whole top bar. But what comes up right after is a chicane here. And so wait, he got up to 183 here, and we take the first corner, take the second corner. The exit speed is 140, 150 miles an hour. But now he has like half of a NOS bar, and there's a really, really long straightaway right ahead. And I mean, just like in any racing game, time on the straights is a lot more important than time in the corners. Like, you could scuff a corner by a few tenths, but if you're going 10 miles an hour slower than someone on the straights, that's going to cost you a lot more time. So it's really important to try to save as much NOS as you can, and try to plan ahead, like, how much NOS can I use so I'll have a full bar before this really long straightaway. Because now he's not going to be able to get up to as much speed and still have enough of the upper top bar to maintain that momentum as well. So, he uses it. He uses the top part. But the thing is here that I would probably, at this point, I would dip into the lower part of my NOS, because it is a pretty long straight. Like, I'd let it build up for a few seconds, and I tried to use maybe even half to 2/3 of the bottom half of my NOS. Try to get to like 260, 270, because this is just a straight up, like, straightaway, like, very, very small steering input. You're not going to lose a lot of speed until you're going uphill. But that's also where you lose a lot of time if you're going slower than someone else. But yeah, just it's definitely better to save NOS for your straights. But the point I'm trying to get at is, try not to use so much NOS right before you're going to lose all the speed you gained from it. Because going back here, you used all the NOS, you're going 180, and then like 2 seconds later, you're going 140. Like, that NOS only maybe gained you like a tenth of a second, because your car is going to accelerate up to that speed anyways. Like, you maybe use half of your top bar. That'll be good, and then you'll have a full bar that you can just blast out on the straight and get up to 260, 270, like, immediately. Which I would probably use some of it on this little short straight, and then I will use the rest of it here, and then just zoom through, and I'll show my clip.
Yeah.
Like, I just hit a fucking. I swear to God.
What car are you in? Lambo? Oh. Damn, the Porsche don't really slide like that. What the fuck?
That motherfucker did the weirdest shit.
Okay, so here there's a couple things for this corner. It's a little tough, but you start wide, and I would start coasting. I would go off throttle like before I'm even going downhill on this bridge, so then I can clip basically that little gutter right there and stay on the road. because the turn doesn't start once you're off the bridge. It starts on the bridge. And then, yeah, you ended up going wide, and that cost you some time. But yeah, just turn in earlier. Try to get off throttle for a second if you need to. You probably will if you're going like up over 200 miles an hour. And then transition. Use a half bar here, or your full top half, so that's good, right? So you're zooming. But then here you use like the NOS that you just built back up, but you're still going like 240, and you're about to lose all this speed right in this corner. So now you're short. Like you're out of this corner. You could have had almost like 3/4 of your bar, and that would have been good enough to get up to 240, 250 again. I mean, like when you're out ahead of the pack, it's like you don't need to go 250 in every little short straightaway. Sometimes it's better to sacrifice that little bit for like longer straights, but you need to know when to save up your NOS for when you're getting out of the next corner to get up back to speed. So at the end of this clip, you're going about like 220, I think. And yeah, I mean, you can go through there around 240. And then, yeah, you brake for the next corners, yada, yada, yada. But even those little taps, like right before you're going into corners, you don't need to get back, like you don't need to get up to 250. Like you don't need to top yourself off. Just trust me, save it up until you're out of here. Because a 1/4 bar at the top of 8th gear is a lot less important than when you're down in the boonies in 6th gear, because then you need a little more NOS to get back up to 8th gear. So it's just like you're not getting as much bang for your buck by using that NOS there, and that set off your pace on this straightaway by up quite a bit. I mean, like it's not like you're losing out so much, but like for this, like if you just count this section of the track as its own track, and you have the start and you have the finish, and you're trying to time the fastest way to get from point A to point B, this is losing you some time. And that's time that other people are catching up to you. That's time where people are in slipstream behind you going 258, 256, something like that, top speed, if they're good on their NOS. So if you do this consistently, it does start to hurt you. And players who have this under lock will, I mean, you could end up in their slipstream, but they might just walk away from you if they catch you slipping. So yeah, be careful about that, and it's a good thing to keep in mind.
That thing. Big problem. That's it. Should be. That's
The camber.
Alright, so this clip here has kind of the same issues here. I mean, I'm not trying to make this really redundant. It's just that I'm trying to show like all the little places where you might not even think about like how your NOS management is gonna work, but it applies everywhere. And like once you start kind of thinking about, okay, I have a couple hairpins here, I'll have about a half bar, I'll have like about half of my top bar more when I'm out of the corner, and I can use this much so I have a full bar when I'm going out on the straight. And there's it's a big map. Like there's a ton of places where they kind of apply differently. Like you use your NOS just a little differently, but it's the same philosophy. So you're going through here, you're building up because you don't have time to use NOS. You're slowing down the whole time, and then you use 3/4 of it, but that's a pretty short straight. I don't think you need 3/4 for that, because then you come out here, you come out with 3/4, but then you use all of it. And you go through that one, you don't really get a good exit here, which makes it kind of tough, because now you have a 1/4 bar, and you have two straightaways now, and you get some speed, but then this happens, right? So it's now you're shit out of NOS again. And I mean, you're still keeping pace, and you're in the 993, so you're back up to 200 in no time. But I mean, even here, it's like you kind of want to get into 5th and then just try to like ride it out, because it's a shorter straight than here. So you want to have a full bar ready again here, because then you can just zoom away, and then every little corner you can just kind of top yourself off at 220, and you're chilling, because then you go through here, and then you have another 3/4 full bar maybe, and you're zooming again. But it's like if you mess up like one time with the NOS management, you have to take a second to just let it build back up. Like it sucks. It sucks going that slow when you know you should be going that fast. But it's better to lose a little time and then keep, like, just top off your momentum the entire time and just keep that flow going, than to kind of just just pray for NOS at the end of the corner. Like, I hope I have enough to get up to speed here, you know? I'm gonna play this one, but I'm not gonna add my own commentary over it. Like, whoever's watching, I want you to decide, like, what exactly could have gone better, like, besides the lines. Because that's just its own thing. That takes your practice, and that's just, like, you have to make your own method out of it, and that's your muscle memory that you have to replicate. So, I mean, through this section, you can write it in a comment, or you just think it out loud, whatever you want to do. But I mean, we've got a little hairpin here, short straight, followed by a corner, and then a long straight, compared to the rest of the track, this is like the longest straight you're gonna have, right? And then you're slowing down again, a couple gutters, and then you're in the transition. So, yeah, I mean, comment it, don't comment it, just try to think about it, because that helps you get it in your head, you know? Definitely helps me improve at my own gameplay. I'm going to show another example of what I mean by using the whole track. So Kato, he's going up here, right? But he's in the middle of the road. I mean, he's trying to hook the gutter, which is good, but you can make that turn in from right next to the yellow barrier on the edge of the road. Like starting on the outside is still going to be a faster line. Like the gutter is fast, but the more road you use, like that just means more speed. The more road you use to take a line, the faster it's gonna be. If it's a straight up racing line, then that's how you're gonna come out faster, especially if you're using a gutter. And then you're coming here, and same thing. You could swing just a little wider, and like still hook that barrier. Like it's kind of split second, and I know that's hard to do on controller. I mean, me being a wheel player, it's a little easier. But I mean, the gutters are good. Like you're hooking that shit up. That's good. And like stuff happens. Like it's fine if you miss one. And Huracan doesn't really care anyway, because that thing just zooms. But yeah, you're moving, and then here, I mean, you still have a little extra space that you could use, and that does make a difference. But here, yeah, you're doing pretty good. Flick, that was a good flick. Like you got that shit perfect. You ended up right on the outside of the road without going into the dirt. That's like the fastest you would have taken it, basically. Unless you clip the checkpoint just a little further, like you pretty much got it perfect. And then yeah, that's the race. But it's just like for every single corner you take that's on a road, try to go as far to the outside as you possibly can. and try to hook that turn in. Might be a little harder, but you can follow the racing line. And something I do for if I need to hook a gutter while staying as wide as possible is I'll turn in right before the racing line. Like I just have like a little feeling I get like when I see my braking line, because I have that on and off, but I'll turn in right before, and I kind of have that mental note of like, this is how far away I need to be from it to hook the gutter. And that works pretty consistently for me. So it's a matter of practice and just being aware of the mistakes you're making and knowing what what you could do better next time. But yeah. So final thoughts. Staying on using all of the road is pretty important. So start as wide as you can, hit your apex as clean as you can, and then get your corner exit lined up so you are on the very edge of the road. That's going to be the fastest line, right? It takes practice. It also means you have to work on your corner exits, which I think you should, because that also saves NOS. I mean, if you're going faster out of a corner, that means that's less NOS that you have to use to get to the same speed, right? Another thing that I noticed is that you use a lot of your NOS in the lower gears. Like in the Huracan, and the 993, you were banging out like second and third, and that was like your whole half bar gone. But second and third, they need like a few taps. But fourth and fifth, those are longer gears. They accelerate slower. That's where you want to save your NOS for. So keep that in mind. But yeah, use the whole road. Prioritize corner exits. Save your NOS for the straights. And if you mess up a corner and there's another corner right after, don't overcompensate with NOS. Like use a little bit more, but make sure you're still going to have enough to actually go fast after the corner. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching.